The Maryland tax court recently struck down that state's digital advertising tax and ordered refunds to be paid to taxpayers for more than 5 years' worth of collections. The Tax Foundation says legislators across the country should take note. Joining us to discuss this ruling and its impacts is Jared Walczak, Tax Foundation Senior Policy Analyst. Jared, thanks for taking time with us here on The States. So what exactly did Maryland's tax court strike down and why?
Maryland's tax court struck down the Maryland digital advertising tax that has existed for over 5 years and required those refunds, like you said. They struck it down on multiple grounds. They said that it's a violation of the Internet Tax Freedom Act, which is federal law that prohibits discriminatory taxes against e-commerce. And the question here is, are digital ads sufficiently similar to ads in the tangible world, magazine ads, TV ads? And the court said, yes, absolutely. The other questions were on the Commerce Clause. Is this discriminating against interstate commerce? Is it taxing extraterritorial activity? And due process, is it reaching things where it has nothing to do with in-state activity or presence? Some of those are specific to Maryland. They're based on the design of this tax. Others would be a problem for basically any digital ad tax. So I think that other states that are very much taking notice, you see Illinois, Utah, Washington, officials there are looking very closely at this decision because they see a preview of what might be coming for them.
You know, you mentioned those other states outside of Maryland that are going to be watching this, but what other states do have this tax already imposed?
Utah and Illinois just adopted digital advertising taxes this year. And then Washington does it a little differently, but they did put digital advertising within their sales tax. So those three states very much have exposure here if this ruling is replicated elsewhere, as I think it very much could be.
Well, Jared, the Maryland case here, 5 years worth of this, how much is going to have to be paid back to those who had to pay this digital ad tax in Maryland?
You know, they had originally projected about $250 million a year in revenue. They've been lower than that, but it's been over $100 million each year. So we're talking probably $500 to $700 million that they have to refund in 1 year because this had been collected for all these years when they knew it was likely unconstitutional, but kept collecting it. Very long delays in having the case heard. And now these refunds, there will be further appeals. So they're maybe even pushing this back further, but someday, almost certainly, they have to pay this all back with interest.
Now, you talked about some of the things the court highlighted the digital ad tax violates. You mentioned the Commerce Clause. Delve a little bit more into that, if you can, and how that could be impacting other states.
Right. So the Commerce Clause, in particular, there's a case called Complete Auto that puts out this test for whether a tax violates the Commerce Clause. And this particular tax was deemed to violate 3 of the 4 prongs of it. It's pretty bad. It's hard to violate 3 of the 4 prongs. They said that there wasn't any fair relation between the tax paid and the services received by the taxpayer because
we seem to be getting a little bit of a jolt there to Jared's signal, but Jared, if you can hear me.
Present into problems. Well, I apologize. Yeah, I do apologize. We're
talking about digital ad taxes on a digital platform of all things. So curious to hear from Jared what's coming up next on this. And of course, with that Maryland tax court making this ruling, other states are going to be watching this closely. But under that summary judgment, the Tax Foundation says that companies that paid the tax must receive refunds, which is interesting to hear just how much that is going to be. So we'll check back in with the Tax Foundation on this developing story and what it means for other states like Illinois and like Utah and states that may be thinking about trying to implement such a tax. And you can find more on this developing story at thecentersquare.com. We'll be right back with more here from The States.